sometimes, you know how you, even though you know, unless the other person is joking, you know how you ask, "Are you retarded?" Yeah, she would ask the question, but she'd mean it.
You look so dark, Beba.
Mm-hmm.
She really would ask, "Are you retarded?"
That or why are you acting like that way? But the point is, it translated. The translation ends up being that.
All right, y'all.
She doesn't see
Beba and I are already having a deep conversation here, and she's giving some good information that I just couldn't stop myself from recording because there's stuff that I didn't even know that I'm seeing over here like.
That's because those stuff I had to use against her if I didn't.
And I'm just like, what the? Like, I'm just, you know, so I just thought I would let y'all in on the information I'm getting too. So go ahead.
So I have to use that against her. Because, that just now that we understand where it's coming from, autism, now I understand why I acted the way I did back, and also how I can separate certain things, like what's important, what's not important. But just because I seemed a little slow, and just because I acted different, doesn't mean I didn't understand every single word you said. I analyzed, searched my own, because you know how Delano is and me are about searching things up. If we can't find the answer, we're not going to stop till we do. And once we do, if it's something that we should be offensive about, you already know we're coming back with a little prank or two. Or more, depending on how it turns out. Because you know, you taught us, we may be different, but to those who discriminate, we have all range, because they already taking their time out of their day to try to mess with us just because they think we're not worth nothing. So if you really think we're not worth nothing, and you think we're too stupid to understand that, you think that way, then why don't we play you for a fool and see how you like it?
Don't she look so pretty, y'all? Don't she look so pretty? Yo, so, alright, so this whole conversation started because I was telling her something and then she misunderstood and took it somewhere else, and then we ended up somehow talking about the past. Then we were talking about school, and then she was telling me about how
I have a fuzzy memory. I can't remember really well, but I know one of the times Grandma either showed up or was called by the school when she wasn't supposed to be, but they told me at the time that she was supposed to be, and obviously I didn't know nothing like that.
Yeah, and I don't get why she was called, because I only had her as an emergency contact for pickup if I couldn't, like, you know, get to Beba. Like, I was always the only one to be called, because usually Beba would end up going to the, you know, the hospital, or like the cops were called, or like
that was before the hospital, so most likely the cops.
Yeah, or like the cops were called and things like that. But go ahead.
So
can you fix that real quick? I am freezing. I'm freezing my tail off.
Yeah, I did not know why you didn't change it from the nighttime temperatures. From nowadays, I have to put on nighttime temperatures for you. Or you wake up saying you're beating hot. I can't breathe.
Time.
Feeling good?
Well, maybe the sweater. Sorry, y'all. All of a sudden, I'm freezing. Damn, this sweater doesn't seem better days.
Well, it makes sense. Between the baby and the dog, trying to steal it.
And you wearing it, and me wearing it.
Actually, the most damage I've ever gotten was from the dog, because there's a hole in there from the baby and the dog. Like, I washed it afterwards. storage, obviously, but I found it after I took it out of the washing machine.
You did tell them he wasn't getting that sweater back. So yeah, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, I can't remember, like I said, I can't remember the details, and I can't exactly remember why, but they said they tried to call you first, couldn't get in contact with you, and obviously, because I think you did tell me, because I don't remember, but you just told me not too long ago that you would use, when they call you and you couldn't make it, you would usually tell Breeze, but they couldn't contact you, they can contact you, and and I think this was before you switched, like, putting Breeze's number on the call. This was right before that, and and they couldn't I don't know, like I said, what was up. They said they couldn't get in contact with you. They didn't know Breeze's number or in contact information or whatever, and the only person they could get in contact with was Grandma. But I can't remember, like, if she came or if they called or I don't remember exactly what happened. I just remembered you weren't the one that was there. I was there. And I remember I was with her longer because I was supposed to be in school, but obviously I had that, yeah. So I remember that. And I can't remember why I had it either. But I just know it was also one of these times that they were just, like, tired. So they were like, okay, if you just go home, we'll just end it there. Okay? Won't even give you no trouble. Just go. Like,
That's probably why they called her, because they know that I wouldn't have allowed you to come home.
But I can't remember why.
Because they know I wouldn't have allowed you to come home. I'd have been like, no, it's your job as the educators to educate my child during school hours. So do your dumb job.
At least that's what I understood. Because like I said, this was all when I was younger, and they didn't think just because of how I acted and certain things I couldn't understand.
I wanted you to talk about the part you were telling me with the stuff that she was saying.
Oh yeah, I just can't remember who said it first, because she didn't say it first, because you know how she doesn't say things unless someone else. I can't remember who said it first.
Oh, that's not true. Sometimes she does say things first.
Well, at that time she didn't, because she didn't have much interaction with school, and she wanted to seem like a good grandma.
I know what you mean.
So, because she did want to yell. I know that much. She did want to be mad at me because I was coming home early and I was supposed to be at school for longer, and that's also how this conversation started with being retarded, or like how I understand it, being retarded and being stupid because I couldn't understand certain things.
She called you retarded and stupid?
I know that she used a word that I can't remember, but I was gonna search up when I got home. But I also think that she didn't think I heard her either. I just can't I remember it was now that I know what the retarded means, I know it's a word that made me
was
feel
it meant
like
to be retarded?
I can't remember that much. I just know, other than stupid, which was the word that I'm more used to.
So she called you stupid in front of the school? Like she was talking to the school saying you were stupid?
How I understood it, yes, but putting it more, one, where kids won't take offense, and two, where it doesn't sound bad because it sounds like she needs more help and needs more working on. But in other words, all that words means, because that's what everyone else would use to try to sweetly and me know is saying I'm stupid.
But you're not stupid.
Exactly.
You're still not stupid now, even though we haven't finished homeschooling, but you're still not stupid now.
There's a lot of things that she got me and Delano were dumb on because we couldn't do it, but in reality, now we can do it because you work with us. And especially now that we have the autism, you work with us in different ways, which makes us help learn it faster. But more likely, she thought we were stupid because, one, you have to put more time in it for us to learn certain things.
So let me get this straight. So because I had to put more time in, first, I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not. I'm not gonna get mad. This is old. I can't get mad. It's old. I'm not gonna get mad.
All I do remember though was the feelings I felt, and two, the feelings I can tell that she felt that she thought I couldn't tell. But you know how I am. I'm very sensitive to how people, all the movements and sounds they do. And you know how I was practicing when I was younger so I can understand? She was the main person I was practicing on. There's a lot of things she thinks that I didn't feel or true feelings on that she don't know that I do know.
Yo, this is exactly another reason why when people bring up to me...
There's also a lot of things Delano told me that she thought Delano wouldn't understand or say, but also she forgets that she taught Delano how to blab. But either way, even if she did tell him how to blab, it was some of the things that she would come tell me anyways, that she would, hence why we'd also kind of get in trouble those times when we would mess with her, because I think those were some of the times that was about you. We didn't like how she had to say, even if she said it in a baby tone, we understood what it really meant. Or Delano was like, I have a feeling this is not a good thing, so he would come to me to confirm, and I would just make a game out of it to go punish her. Or to just make a game out of it. Because I couldn't really tell Delano what was really going on, because it already hurt him enough hearing all the things she would say.
And this just kind of co-signs my point of when people ask me, can I, make amends or, forgive or whatever, you only have one mother and all these other lovely things. You do only have one mother, yes, that is very true. But that mother had to have always been a mother. Had to have always been a mom, had your back, genuinely had your back, not had your back so people can see that they had your back. Not behind closed doors, do the complete opposite of what a mother does. This is one of the reasons why I would not be able to make amends. You have this oh my God.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
What I don't understand, especially with the people that do understand how she is around behind closed doors, if you really want, even though I know this probably ain't gonna happen because she won't mean it, because she still doesn't mean it till now, because yeah. If they really want you to make amends, then she should have making amends of the fact that it's not your fault that she gave birth to you. So she should really make amends with that before anybody else tells the person who's the victim of the fact that the mother didn't want to even have her, but it ain't her fault that she was born. She should make amends with her own problem first, because technically she should have made amends with her own problem before even becoming a mother in the first place. Because if she was going to treat her child like shit, she should just gave her to the grandparents.
Correct.
Like, stop pretending and caring, especially when you because this is the part which no one ever sees either. Even but I don't know if you see too in the past, but we didn't say anything in the past because we're like, she's just crazy. She would complain about pretending, but complain when no one believes her pretending.
Wait, what?
Sometimes she'd be. You know how sometimes those days when she's more nasty than others is the days that she doesn't care about who sees her like as her. She doesn't care put on her mask.
Yeah.
She gets tired of the mask, but she gets tired of the fact that people don't want to pay attention to the mask too, because once she takes off the mask, obviously no. So she gets tired of them being tired of her without the mask. So she gets tired of that too, but she also gets tired of wearing the mask too. So it's like what the hell? So that's why we're saying crazy. Because, one, we think she was crazy for having a mask in the first place. How about just becoming a better person? Two, if you're so tired of it, but also tired without it, just live without it. Because, one, like in all the shows that we watched, and all the books that we skimmed through, because some of them we couldn't read, we skimmed through, and all of the things we looked up, the only person that ever really loses in the long run from having a mask is the person that wears the mask and is fooling everybody else. So in the long run, when everything comes crashing down, the only person you have to blame is yourself.
Yeah.
Hence why, don't like liars, don't like pretenders.
Correct. Big time. She's one of the reasons why I don't like them either. Because
the only one that was constant in our life, that also made us hate the fact of liars and cheating. Hence why I think Donna was overly honest, actually, because you know how overly
he was.
You really?
He was. Honestly, let me tell you, my booger, for a long time, would never lie. If he broke something, he would come with a broken heart and look at you with sad puppy eyes and tell you, Mommy, Grandma, whoever it was, I'm sorry, I broke, whatever. Like, he never lied. He was always honest about everything, overly honest. Things that we probably wouldn't even figured out, he probably did. He would still be honest.
I think that I know why he's lying now.
Why?
He didn't even have a breather of a chance, even if it was little things like if he was hungry, because, if he took anything, including food, he would get, like,
she was.
So, and then including his dad, because that's the only time that's actually when he would take something, but she didn't approve of it, even if she did say okay at the moment, but she doesn't, like, it gets, I don't know if it was a lapse of memory or it was just her being her, because I still don't, to this day, I can't figure out the difference between those, because sometimes she does have the lapse of memory, because you know how when she believes in something, she believes, so you can't really tell the difference when it has the lapse of memory.
I know that very well, because I could show her proof, and she would still deny it.
Yeah, so you can't tell if it was the denial part or the lapse of memory part, because there was two or three occasions that it was, but it was mostly for not small things, but small things like her medicine, and that's how I also got used to keeping track somewhat of medicine, because she wouldn't keep track of her own.
Yeah.
So, but it would be like one of those times, that's the only time she would actually go to Sanjay, but it would be to complain that Delano did this, so Sanjay, you know how Sanjay was. So then, that's why, overly honest, Delano. And then, also, and this is just me thinking because of this one of the flashes that I'm having now, but also a little bit of different memory from the past. And also why, because you know how even though Delano was separated from her for a while, he would still tell her everything. There's one thing that I always was curious about that I think had a reason for that. Was because, one, when they got along, Sanjay and Grandma got along, it was really suspicious.
Yes, correct. Because they never got along.
Exactly.
They couldn't stand each other. They still can't stand each other, but they can get along to fuck my life up.
And Delano's too, which is
correct.
The funny part.
That's some shit. They can get along when it comes to driving me crazy. But they don't get along for nothing else.
So that's the only time they've ever seen them get together. Is when they're planning on doing something to Delano because of something that she said he needed to be punished for. And then Sanjay, he takes any excuse to whoop Delano's ass.
Correct.
So he didn't care if it was true or not. Why do you think when I would go to school sometimes on certain days, and I also tried to convince you not to send me to school? It's because Delano was... A lot of those times you don't see it because he doesn't want to show you, or they threaten if you show mom, like you'd be in more trouble. It's like certain things they would manipulate behind the scenes. But they would get mad. They first got mad when they thought that he would tell me, which why for sometimes he wouldn't tell me. But at other times, I don't remember if I did actually say it, because I know in my head I was like, bitch, I figured it out myself and I'll leave him the hell alone. But I can't say that when I was that young. So, well, I could, but I wouldn't because you didn't teach me to do that. But what I mean was pretty much that. I figured it out on my own, so leave him alone. Like,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be so hard. It wouldn't didn't even take a 6-year-old, which I was at the time, or well, not was 7, 6. A young child.
Yeah.
It doesn't take. If it didn't take that long for a young child to figure out that you're tormenting the other young child, the youngest child at the time, then yeah, someone can be stupid, but no one's that stupid. Like,
I did not see a lot of this stuff going on because I was working.
they would.
And when I would come home,
That's because
they acted like they couldn't stand each other and they wouldn't even talk to each other.
That's because some of those days it actually was true on those certain days. The only time, like I said, the only time they got along and when they were torturing Delano. But like I said, when they ended was the end of it. Like the plan fell through. That was done. So they were back to being at all the ends unless they found something else they should cooperate on. Like it literally lasts as long as it takes to torture the person they're planning to torture, and then that's it. Like.
You know what it was? The time that Beba was talking about, right? I had Delano when Beba was 6. And we lived at my egg donor's house. And I used to work full time. Like, I stayed home for the 6 weeks after I gave birth to Delano. But because his dad needed his papers, I didn't get the luxury to stay home with Delano like I did with Beba for the first 2 years. I had to go to work because I had to sponsor him for his papers so that he can go to work.
Can we make one thing clear though first?
Huh?
If it wasn't for the fact that Delano at the time needed his father, we both wouldn't give 2 fucks about him. Because in reality, if we knew how the father he would be, Mom wouldn't have stuck around or got married or cared less about his papers because of the person he turned out to be. And the person he turned out to be to his son at that. He could be nice to his daughter from another mother, but he can't be nice to his only son.
So, she was home all day. He was home all day. And I was at work. Well, I still had to come home and cook and clean. And be a mom and take care of my kids. And I was trying to go to school too. At the same time. Because I was trying to finish my bachelor's. And didn't get the support either one of them. Which is why I'm still not done with my bachelor's. I never understood that. I never understood how 2 people are home all day. And I still had to deal with all of my toddlers, work my, 8-hour shift.
Felt like longer.
Come home and still deal with everything in the household because nobody else was doing it. And then do it all over again the next day, and that's not including if I didn't have, a bad day at school, and if I didn't get called out of work from it, or if I didn't have so many calls back to back. Because at that time, Beba was going through a lot. Her condition was just really showing up. Like, I was trying to get her diagnosed, I was trying to get her evaluated, I was trying to figure out what was going on with my kid, why my kid was struggling while she was going through a hard time. Like, it was a lot. It was a lot. And I was trying to do all of this. I'm young, and I'm still trying to do all of this. I didn't have the best example of a mother, so I'm...
Well, actually, you did have an example, but it wasn't your mother. It was your grandmother.
I did, but I didn't see Abuela like that.
I know, but...
I never really looked at Abuela as a mom. I looked at Abuela as Abuela.
No, the point of what I'm saying is the only example that you can say is an example.
Yeah. So, like, I was doing it all on my own. The woman couldn't give me no advice. She couldn't help me. She couldn't, like, I had to do all this on my own and figure it out on my own. There wasn't nobody else in my family helping me or giving me advice. Like, this was all being done on my own. I wasn't even stressing out my abuela. Well, my abuela wasn't around anymore at this point. I forgot. Sorry. Abuela wasn't around. I had just buried her in 2008. Delano was born in 2009. So, you know, and I was on my own. I was on my own. Literally. Like, figuring out what's going on with my child, figuring out how to handle this, figuring out how to make sure that she's still getting the best education ever, you know, and I have to figure out the education system on my own, because my mother didn't know none of this. She would just send me to school, and I had to figure out school by myself, because I couldn't count on her to help me for schoolwork or anything like that. So to even come for me,
I just realized something with you talking about that.
what?
One, like you said, one from the past that you said you don't think she ever changed her diaper or do any of that.
You
right?
said that. I never said that. You just said that.
No, I'm asking in the past conversation, was like, you ever change your diaper or do any of that?
Did she ever change my diaper?
Yeah, do you think?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, from my memory, from what I remember, that was told to me.
Mm-hmm.
So don't quote me, people, because I don't know my full story. So I only know what I remembered as being told to me by certain people, and one of them passed away. So I know she had a good amount, Titiani. She had a good amount of my past story. But from my story that I know bits and pieces of, my egg donor had me for the first year. So yeah, she would have changed diapers. And then after that, I got shipped off to my grandparents, and they had me for a while.
The reason why I ask is, you know how you recently, since we got, like, actually a couple of days ago, we touched the topic, how you said grandma didn't like Delano from birth? That would explain, because you know how I was like, how can you change mom's diapers and give her a bottle and all this?
I should try to talk while I had smoke in my mouth. She changed your diapers.
See, even more funny. She wouldn't touch Delano for changing
your
her
diapers.
slot.
She changed your diapers and she fed you bottles.
That's the thing. Because, yeah, she would complain, because what I think why she would complain now, why I doubt back then, because she actually cared about him, well, except for the certain feelings I got, like, feelings like she didn't actually like him, that she wished he wasn't there, all those feelings, but I just, you know, most focused on that, had a new little baby brother. I was happy, so I knew baby brother, so yeah. But she would claim every time, but she would also get mad for Santa locking Delano in the room because he wouldn't do any of these things either, was that she couldn't change diapers, she couldn't feed him because she didn't know at all how, or stuff, or I'd ask her for help, or, you know how I learned by watching or looking on a video, and I could, you know.
Do you remember Uncle Carmelo's wife?
Yeah.
Do you remember her daughter, Susanna?
I would remember. For some reason, the daughters, I keep getting names confused. By when they
one
say
of her daughters had a baby a long time ago, remember?
Yeah, I think so.
She was holding that baby, feeding that baby, and she was going to babysit that baby.
Yeah.
So that baby was way after Delano.
That's why I'm like...
I'm just proving my point right now.
Yeah,
So if she was willing to babysit that baby, change that baby's diapers, and feed that baby's bottles, so why couldn't she do Delano?
Exactly. Especially because Sanjay wasn't doing it. She claimed she couldn't do it. So the only person when you were not home was me left.
So the whole time that I'm at work and I'm thinking my son was being taken care of, I find out years later that my son really was not being taken care of.
Well, he was, but by the wrong person, me.
So, like, then people wonder why I'm the way that I am. Then people wonder why I feel the way that I feel.
There were occasions that I think I convinced her to try. That it didn't end up well. There was an occasion. I think it was only one time, because remember how protective I was of Delano? Once one thing goes wrong, I was like, nope, you're not doing it no more. Yeah, that was one of the test trials. The time that Delano was in the room. Once I learned that he was in the room from the time that Sanjay got back and the time I got home, because if it wasn't for the fact that by the time I got home, that's also the funny part. Sometimes, not sometimes. By the time I got home, that's when she would argue to have Sanjay release Delano from the room because he wouldn't feed him or change. Like, he would change him. If he gets loud, he would try to, but not in a nice way, try to figure out what was wrong to make him shut up. But, like, even, because when I mean feed him, I mean, this was also including past the point of just milk bottles. You actually have to start feeding him food. And even I did that at the time. Sandy didn't do that. He would just he would feed him a bottle, and then, or feed him bottles, depending on the age of when he was. But the point is, yeah, he would feed him a bottle, but you give him a bottle, leave him in the crib, go back to sleep.
But remember, Sanjay wasn't feeding him food because Sanjay wasn't even feeding himself food. Remember, he wouldn't even get up and go get himself something to eat either.
That's even worse of an example. If you have a child.
I know. Because that was a fight that I used to have with him too. Like, you're not feeding a kid, he's locked in a room all day and I have to work. Like, what the hell? I'm not Wonder Woman. I can't be in two places at once and then I still have to deal with Beba and what's going on with her.
Yeah. But it also came to the point where they stopped hearing us and also stopped getting the banging on the door. He would just give me Delano as soon as I got home. Or the door would be unlocked because he didn't feel like getting up anytime soon to open it, or grandma wasn't there that day, or she didn't come out her room except for the bathroom or food, because obviously neither you and me are home. Because the main reason why he also locked the door is because grandma kept bothering him. So, yeah. I can't remember if I got her to stop or if she just stopped on her own. But, yeah. Every time I got home, first thing I did, not even homework. I would actually go to get Delano, bring him down with me, make sure he's full, make sure he has a clean diaper, make sure he's nowhere he can get hurt, and then while playing with him, I would do my homework.
Who is he?
You.
No.
We're talking about the past when you were a baby.
Let me see.
We don't have pictures.
Oh.
Talking about let me see.
Wasn't that a time when there's no cameras?
Nope, I'm not taking that one, nope. And Delano, aka, if you were that old, you'd be older than Mom.
Dang it. Dang it.
Older than
older.
the woman.
Dang it.
Are we sure?
I had cameras back in my day, Beba.
I never said because,
He said cameras. He said, was there cameras back in that
Can
time?
I finish explaining first?
I meant like cameras like this. Oh my
Yes.
God, we're recording.
Yes. And I mean, I didn't consider Abuela old or Abuelo old either. But that woman I considered old. Because she couldn't even work a camera. That's why I made the comment.
She couldn't work Facebook, remember?
Oh yeah.
Mom, I've worked with her for a while. She couldn't.
I had to help her at Facebook for some reason.
Delano, me, not just Facebook.
Remember Delano
Oh,
used to
her
send
whole
me,
phone. Her whole phone.
remember
Yes.
Delano used to send me messages on Facebook?
I remember because.
I did?
Yeah, using her account.
I remember because
you abused her account.
Yeah, you abused it for two reasons. One reason is some of the messages on that wasn't from him, it was from her.
I know.
She didn't feel like typing. And that's how that started.
No, it's funny. Like, sometimes you're like, Mommy, it's me, Booger.
Those are the times you have to relay messages.
I mean, like, Booger, what are you doing with Grandma's phone? I miss
I
you.
stole it.
No, you didn't. She would.
Oh yeah, she
Even
did.
unless she was intoxicated in one of her Candy Crush games, she would give it to him every time because,
She barely is intoxicated. She gave it to me almost every day.
like I said, the only time was the times that she did Candy Crush, and you already know how much she was.
I ruined her Candy Crush.
Yeah, that's why she stopped playing.
You ruined it? Yes, I wasted everything.
Actually, honestly, that point, I can't remember if it was him or me telling him or me.
It was me. I did it on my own accord.
That was the thing. The reason why I said that was, at the ironic part, at the same time, which that's why I can't remember if I told him or not, was because I think she did something, and and at that time, you know how much it was when he was being really, really helpful for her. But he did something wrong, and then she came at him, but not came, that come at but not come at way, but like a harsher way. Like, I could feel like you're not controlling the part that says you don't like Delano. It's hard to explain.
I'm just laughing because he's over here doing the weird dances in the camera, like.
Well, that's Delano. But yeah, I just remember
they went like this.
Grandma made him sad and mad.
So I messed it up.
He wasn't ever that mad. He gets
Before
sad.
my life.
Yeah, but he gets sad. He was sad. But the part that, because of how much sad he always gets, it maxed how mad he was actually.
Can you not show the cracky ass to everybody?
Yeah.
So
no, I won't.
I don't. That's why I don't know. It was always like a ha thing to me, because it was like him getting his secret revenge without realizing he was getting revenge.
Wait,
because you didn't understand. I can't remember the words she said, but you didn't understand
I
the
didn't
depth.
understand nothing.
No, you understood what she was saying because she was speaking to you, but you understood the cover words of what she was saying. You didn't feel you did, but you didn't understand the feeling that you were getting off of her, that you didn't understand.
Pleasure or something like that? Satisfaction.
You're not
let me
listening.
Yes.
She was torturing you. You didn't understand she was torturing you. I didn't point it out to you, but you felt the anger, the hatred. But you didn't understand what it was. I didn't explain it to you because you tried to love her to death at that time. So I didn't want to, crush that image, because you were trying to hold on to the fact that you thought she loved you.
Yeah.
And especially at that time, because she didn't really play with him until she started really doing stuff for her, and that's when she started to really pay attention to him. So the one time you messed about all those times, and
I tapped the mic.
Congratulations. Do you want a bonus?
would you stop? You know they can hear you.
No, they can't.
Anyways, that's that's why I was like, it's a karma, but without anybody realizing except me, it's karma. It's a natural, not forced karma. Delano did it without thinking, and to one of the things that she, at the time, was obsessed with.
What was that?
Candy
Candy Crush, yeah.
So I called it karma of the karma. Because, I usually try to make the karma. Mostly because sometimes, the rare occasions, it was like things like, first it started out like things that to show her, hello, can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Because she thinks it wouldn't happen to her. So then, it happened to her. And then she understood where Dawn was coming from, so sometimes she would actually, but it felt like she didn't mean it, but she would actually apologize. Because it happened to her, and she just said, it could never happen to me, so why would it happen to you?
Yeah.
Pretty much, is what we were like you would we understood it. Because, like I said, talking baby-like, not baby-like, but yeah, baby-like because Delano. So more baby-like than kid-like because of Delano. But also because I got older. So, using the cover of Delano, more like it. Until I started having the more of the episodes and changing school and all that. Then she was a little bit, how do I put it? Less intense? No, more intense, more like it. Less cautious of her words. Unless I made her really mad and she forgot the cautious completely. But then there's also sometimes she forgets to be cautious, so she forgets that whole thing just happened and tries to butter up later.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the funniest but also worst part is it'd be on stupid reasons.
It's crazy how many crazy memories you guys have.
Oh, and a lot of the times when I broke things, that if I didn't come apologize because it was, and it, like, you know, deeply apologize, but it was like more of a, yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm like, why is it so big? When she would complain and it's something I broke of hers, it's because a lot of the times it was one, either because I was doing something for her, or two, I forgot what was number two. I know a lot of times it was because I was doing something for her. Or number two was actually an accident, actually. But a lot of the times, like, because remember there was a lot of things that you asked me how did I know how to do, and you didn't teach me?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you got late before, you got mad because you were like, I didn't teach you this, or some things you catch me doing, but you didn't teach me, so you get mad and said, okay, I'm going to teach you it since you really... It was not, but it is because I wanted to, but not because I wanted to at that moment. Obviously, I wanted to take my time, but it's because she's trying to force me to do these things already, and you know how pushy she is. So, it's like, I want you to just shut up so I can, like, I didn't really, and the more mistakes I made, the more time it took away from me looking after Delano, so the more time he spent with his dad or with her, and I was like, okay, this gotta end. So, I was more, because he was happy, yeah, but there's still a side that Delano doesn't know, that I know, that he doesn't realize I can realize in him, even though I can't explain it, but there's a side that always unconsciously tells me there's something wrong. That side screamed those times. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to learn this. And then...
something is not right.
Yep.
Let me get to the bottom of this.
Even if it was the slightest... Sometimes even if it was the slightest thing, I was like... And you know how I go off my feelings? Sometimes if it was the slightest thing, I'd have a bad feeling with it. So I just... And I'm not going to find out why that bad feeling was becoming. Because it didn't get that deep.
I know what you mean.
So I'm like,
I really just hate that so much happened while I was at work. Like, I hate that you didn't tell me so much because you couldn't, in your mind, you couldn't tell me. Like, you know what I mean?
That, and there are some things I still can't remember because I have them locked up, and we're going to talk about that when we're not on video, because that's a Delano thing that he told me that he doesn't let me tell you either. One, they're locked up, and two, I just know they're very painful. And we both were worried about you at the time, and especially because of the times that they occurred were not good times either. Like, you already had enough on your plate, and it's...
Yeah, but you guys are not supposed to protect me.
But
I'm supposed to protect you.
But also, the way that things were going to looking like turn out, it was also going to look like... The way it was, because we were children, and one, because, you know how we talked back then, were clear but not clear, I could see how it was going to end up. Delano didn't see how it was going to end up, but he had a feeling that it was going to be bad, so he consulted with me, because I also was thinking the same thing. But in the end run, it was going to be she won, Sanjay won, me, you, and Delano lose. Lyrical wouldn't be here. Delano he wouldn't be a liar, but he wouldn't be happy, and he probably would be way unhealthy, meaning skinny wise, because you know, if Sanjay saw Delano now, he would be hysterical.
Okay,
even if Delano was the perfect, even if Delano was the right, like even if Delano ate the right way, did not steal and all that, he would still complain because even when Delano did do that when he was with us, he didn't. Sandra wanted him skinny like him.
Booger, take her to the bathroom.
Take her.
So, in the long run, you would be fighting, yeah, but the fight would be so worse than what it was that there would be a higher possibility that you would lose, and all these things were done on purpose so you could lose. So we didn't let them think that they can use us as pawns to make you crumble and then get what they want. In the end run, we would also still be suffering too. So either way, it's a lose-lose. It's a 22. One, if we let them get, if we stay quiet, they can't use us as pawns. We don't feel like.
I'm starting to cry.
Huh?
Why is Butt crying? Why is she having nightmares? Gotta get my kids out of here, man. Gotta get my kids out of here. But I had to record because the whole conversation started with one way, and then Beba brought up some stuff from the past, and I was like, it's a good therapeutical way of me letting her let her stuff out, and because of her autism, she struggles to talk a lot, and she struggles to let out her emotions and her feelings, and it's hard for her to express herself. So I like to record it because it's something I feel like she can go back and look at and use as a point of reference for down the line, especially because she really does struggle, with her autism to express herself. But to hear so much stuff that happened when I was not around, it's like mind blowing. Leave the door open. Why your butt dirty?
He fell on the hill from sitting on it so much.
Oh.
And from the woods that was wet yesterday.
And my mind, it's mind blowing, like, to hear so much stuff, like, while I'm out there making the money to support, like, this is things that are going on behind my back with my kids. And then it just adds on to that feeling of, well, guess wasn't being that good mom like you thought you was. Wasn't being that good mom like you thought you was. Didn't have all your shit together like you thought you did. Damn sure as hell wasn't doing right by the kids like you thought you was. And the beating up commences, and I'm not gonna let it continue because I did the best that I could with what I had. I trusted those that were supposed to be there for my kids to do the best they could while I was at work. I can't beat myself up for trusting people that I should be able to trust. That I'm supposed to rely on. Right, Beba? I said I can't beat myself up for what they did because I'm supposed to have been able to count on them and trust them. I was supposed to be his dad and I was supposed to be your grandma.
Yep. All they saw us as pawns, but we didn't let us be used really much as pawns. Because you're bad enough, they're trying to control every single thing we did in our life.
It's just crazy. Like, it's just crazy to me.
I don't know what bothered me. I can't really speak for Delano, because I think I know what bothered him the most, at least at the time, was hurting you and me. But also, for me, I don't know what bothered me more was the fact that they were coming for you, and they're coming for you, period, or they're coming for you for stupid reasons, or the fact that they thought they can use us as pawns, or the fact that they think we're stupid enough to be used as pawns.
That's the thing. A person learns that you have a disability, and all of a sudden you become dumb, slow, or stupid. I don't know. That just doesn't sit well with me. But this video is already long enough, so I'm going to end this one here. And if we continue another one, I'll just continue another one. But this one's already been long. Y'all got a good gist of the conversation. Like I said, I wanted to record it because me and Beba had already started a good conversation beforehand on something that I was just trying to explain to her that led to another part that her autism took it as. And I thought it was a good therapeutical for her if I let her express her feelings. And I wanted to record it because, again, with the autism, she struggles to express herself. And she struggles to express her feelings. And I record these because I feel like she can always go back if she really wants to. And watch them and kind of like, you know, take in her emotions and her feelings. But also I feel like it's good because it helps, you know, other autistic people. But also it'll help her express herself. It also tells our story, which is what we're doing here as well. But mainly I need her to heal. You know, it's really important for her to heal. She has a lot she needs to heal as well, like I do. You know, our battles and our wounds are different, and she needs to heal hers too. But I do hope that y'all have an amazing one. Today is Sunday. I don't remember what time we started this. It's 11:03 now. It's been 51 minutes. It's 5:15. You know, May 15. But I hope y'all have a blessed one and make it count. All right. Don't forget, tomorrow ain't promised for no one. Ain't promised to no one. So make sure you make it count and make yesterday, jealous. Yo, I can't talk. Deuces. Bye.